so glad you're here. And I also don't know how to film a YouTube video, so stick around to see me figure that out over a period of time, I guess. My name's Sophia. I have never made a YouTube video. The only thing I know how to do is run an Instagram page. So I do run a Bible Instagram page. It's called Spark Passion, and if you stick around long enough, you will hear me use passion, that word, a lot. It's my favorite word. And so yeah, you can go ahead and follow that. It should show up on the screen at some point, as well as my website where I write blogs about Jesus. So yeah, so that's, if you're randomly coming across this video and you have no idea who I am, that's the best way to figure out who I am, is going to those places and listening to this video, because I don't necessarily know what I'm going to talk about yet, so we'll see. But I've gotten a lot of questions about my testimony and about who I am as a person, and I've been praying a lot about how to share that. There's so many things that I've seen God do in my life, so many radical, like, redemptive, is that a word? Redemptive? Redemption stories. I don't know. And he's just done so much in my life. And so I was just really praying about what is relevant to share, what is going to be beneficial to an audience that wants to know more about me. And so I'm going to do my best to share details that I think are going to be mostly just proving the faithfulness of God in my life. Just skipping just some of those details of my childhood and some of the stuff that my parents did, and just a lot of stuff. I'm sure you'll learn over time, but I feel like it's not necessarily beneficial for like sharing a short version of my testimony. So just know that there is more to the story, and if you ever want to know more, let me know, and I'm an open book. Like, I don't mind sharing it. It's more so just keeping the video less than 20 minutes or 3 hours or whatever. And so yeah, so I'm just gonna jump right in. So yeah, I was born and raised in Florida, and I used to not really like that I lived in Florida just because it's so hot, but I really like it now. I just moved to a new city a couple months ago, which has been like just a super crazy experience, and I've learned so much about myself and about Jesus, and like just really the faithfulness of God and just everything that he's done in my life. And so I've had a lot of time to reflect on my testimony, really, because I feel like, I don't know if this is wrong thinking, but I feel like my testimony isn't just the moment that God saved me, but it's every single day, the newness of my spirit that he gives me. Like, I feel like every day I'm like renewed, that he just has given me like a new fresh fire for him, just this new, like, he's given me fresh eyes to see his faithfulness in a different way every day. So it almost feels like not getting saved again every day, but like just this new joy, this new passion, this new fire, that just keeps me going towards him every day, if that makes sense. I don't know. That was just a thought I just had, so if that doesn't make sense, then yeah, so basically my testimony is just this. I was introduced to the gospel when I was very little, and I like instantly just knew it was the truth. There was no doubt, there was no refuting it. I think I was 4 or 5 at the time, and I was like, yep, this is the truth, and this is how I feel, and this is Jesus is mine. This is the love of my life, and that just became it. And so I got saved at a very, very young age, which is so the faithfulness and the grace of God, because from that point I started to go through stuff that was just so unfortunate and sad, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but I'm so thankful that I got to experience it, because I can share it with you, and I can share it with people who have also faced similar things and can help them through all of those things. And so just to give you like a overview, my parents got divorced when I was little, and I don't remember them ever being together. And my dad got remarried to a woman who was incredibly abusive, and then my mom, who was the most beautiful person ever and creative and awesome, struggled with alcoholism very seriously for my whole life. And so there was a 50-50 court ruling, so I was a week with my dad, a week with my mom, and I saw my grandparents every other Wednesday. And my grandparents were the ones who introduced me to the gospel, and to Jesus. And so for that, like that's why I'm saved. So that is just like such a beautiful part of my story. I really would not have seen anything like I did if they had not stepped in and really, like, didn't matter what my parents were saying. It was like, no, this is the truth, and we're gonna teach you the truth even if they don't want you to hear it, because my parents were just like not about it at the time. And so just to give you a little bit of a background of what would go on at the two houses, at my dad's house, it was just very like I was just told a lot of stuff that was untrue about myself. I knew that my stepmom hated me. It was very clear. And she just would say things to me a lot that basically began to kind of gnaw at my self-image and how I saw myself and how I viewed myself. And I started to just grow up with these false truths about who I was. And then I would go to my mom's house, and I basically raised myself from a very young age, was cooking my own meals. I was running away a lot every night. Not every night, but very, very, very frequently. I was running away just to get away from some of the stuff that was happening. And I'd call a family member, and they would come pick me up, and just a lot of really, really crazy stuff. And I stopped seeing my dad when I was 10. And so it's been a long time, and that's still kind of the case right now. And I really know that God's gonna restore that whole thing at some point, but yeah, so that happened, and it was just because it got to the point where I just couldn't be over there anymore. And then I moved in with my grandparents when I was 12 full time, because then being with my mom was too bad. And so from 12 to 16, I kind of watched, my dad was just out of the picture, like he just wasn't there. But so now it was just, I was dealing with grandparents and my mom. And my mom just started, just the alcoholism, what got to the point where like it was like hurting her a lot. And so she started losing all feeling in her feet. She developed something called neuropathy, and she couldn't walk or drive anymore, or really just take care of herself really at all. And then dementia's the wrong word to use, but she started like forgetting things. She would ask me the same questions over and over, and it just felt like I was just watching myself lose my mom, which was like really hard, really, really hard. And so so my freshman year of high school was when it kind of, everything in my life kind of hit me the hardest. I was 15, and I stopped wanting to hear about Jesus. I was like, I don't understand why he's making me go through all these things. I don't understand anything that's going on. I know I love him. I know he loves me, but I just can't talk about it anymore. I can't have those conversations because I just don't understand enough. I started really, really struggling with anxiety. I would stay up all night, and just try to find quiet. Like my thoughts were racing all the time. I was just like a mess. I was upset all the time. I stopped smiling. I stopped talking to people, which is so not my personality. Like I'm always smiling, like I'm always talking to people, and like I just wasn't the same, and people knew I wasn't the same, and I was hanging with a group of kids that were just not good at all. And it was just not good, not a good situation at all. And I can't explain this next part really, because it doesn't make any sense still to me, but I woke up one morning after months of feeling this way, and I was just a different person. My perspective changed. I fell back in love with Jesus. It didn't matter the things I didn't know. I was full of joy. I was full of peace. I wasn't praying for myself, but somehow I just woke up one day and he just radically changed my perspective, my heart, everything. And that happened in the month of May. So that was my freshman year. And so May is my all-time favorite month ever, because I fell back in love with Jesus on this day, in this month. And so I just kind of, I don't know what happened, but for months after that, and still now, like just on fire every day, like I talked about before, just this fresh passion for Jesus, which is like so cool. I can't even explain it. Like he just woke me up one day and was like, nope, we are done with this self-pity and this self-image issues, which were very, very high at the time, and so many more details went into that. But just to give you an overview, like Instagram makes your life look perfect. And so the things that you were going through, I've probably been through. And so like it's all relative. Like Instagram has no way of showing you some of the things that people have been through. And so I just want you to know, like, I feel for you, like, I sympathize with you, I empathize with you, like, me too, just me too. So, like, just know that even if, like, I'm praying for the people watching this video, like, I'm praying for the people on my page, like, you're not alone in whatever you're going through. And I like, at the time, I really felt like I was alone, like, I needed a voice to be like, hey, like, snap out of it, like, this is not the truth. And so, if you need to hear that, there's the voice telling you that, because it is whatever, because I just didn't like myself anymore. It was just like very, very negative. And so I woke up one day and was like, you know what? There's nothing about me to not like, not in a prideful way, in a way of, like, God literally handcrafted me. So it is not my job to judge the things that he created, and I need to just move forward, because it's not about me anyway. It's about him. It's about me sharing Jesus and me showing his faithfulness through my life in every single possible way ever. And so that's what I'm doing. And it's not to say I don't keep struggling with some of those things. Definitely do, but that's like where the enemy comes in and just wants to bring you back to a place of anxiety and fear and depression and sadness and keep you there. And it's our job as believers to be like, to fight back, and of course God is fighting your battles, but he's waiting for you to stand up to the enemy too. And so I can get on a whole tangent about that, but that's for another video. This is about my testimony. Let's get back to it. Okay, so I fell in love with Jesus all over again, and that was super awesome. And it led into a very hard season. I ended up losing my mom a few months after that happened. August of 2017, to a seizure. Very random. She was 42, or 41, almost 42. And that was just like a huge wake-up call for me, that life is going to be unpredictable and I can't really control the things that are going to happen. And it was really hard. It's still really hard. She did get saved before she passed away, though, so that is the hope I'm holding on to. Like, I will see my mom again, which is a super amazing thing to know. But yeah, so I, from that point on, just watched God literally radically change lives. I went to school the next day, actually, after that happened, and I didn't tell anyone. And the only day I missed was for her memorial service, and that was when students at the school found out. And I got many letters and many notes from people saying, how did you come to school still smiling and still happy when that had happened? And I got to share the gospel with them and talk to them about Jesus. And so even though my mom's life was sad and some of the stuff that she did was unfortunate and sinful and so many things I could get into, she is now spreading the gospel through the life I get to live, because I can share about her and who she is and what God did through me in my life with her. And so, like, just watching the fact that her life is saving other lives is probably the coolest part of my story, just because I get to use the unfortunate parts of her life and use them for the glory of God, like whatever he wants to do with them. And I think that is so cool. And so yeah, so I lost my mom and just chased Jesus harder and harder and harder and harder until now. And so then I moved away, way before I moved away. I graduated high school 2 years early because after that happened, I decided I wanted to jump into ministry school as soon as possible. So I did ministry school for 2 years after I graduated high school, after my 10th grade year. And so I just finished up those 2 years, and now I'm a psychology major, and I'll be done hopefully as soon as possible. December 2021 is what it's looking like. And so, yeah, I don't know if I explained that well enough. I don't know if it was a lot of information. I don't know if it was confusing, but I know that God is asking me to share my story. And so that's the basis, and I can always share more, and I'm sure that I will get the opportunity to do so if that's something that you want me to do and he wants me to do. So yeah, that's so fun. And I've also had a lot of questions about my Bible, so I'm just gonna go ahead and answer them on this video because I get a lot of questions. Okay, so my Bible is from Hosanna Revival, which is the coolest Bible store ever. They hand paint them. I'll be hand painting them in June. Side note, that's for later. And so my tabs are from Amazon. I also sell Bible tabs, just so you know. And it's an ESV journal Bible. Let me show you like favorite pages. Yeah. I really don't think I had anything else for this video. I am not a professional at YouTube. I'm not a professional at anything to do with video editing either. So enjoy and welcome to my insane life. Bye!